Hi friends, welcome back. So in this video, I will be providing 10 manual testing interview questions. The first question is, so what is the advantages of a manual testing? The advantages of manual testing is especially if you are working for a small size project, then that kind of project normally they use manual testing. After one or two releases, if that project doesn't continue, then manual testing itself a better option. Using manual testing, tester can find more issues very easily. Test cases can be easily modified if there are any changes for the test cases, because whenever we are trying to execute the test cases manually, it is very easy for us to update the test cases there and there itself. Fourth one is, so manual testing is very useful whenever you are performing a ad hoc testing, exploratory testing, and a usability testing. And the fifth advantage is, especially to perform a manual testing, you may not require a rock solid skills. Even if you know the basic testing, you can still perform a manual testing. What are the disadvantages of manual testing? Whenever we have chosen to do manual testing, that means it is a very high tedious work, high redundant work, and which is highly repetitive in nature. Especially when we are trying to do manual testing, if the numbers grows very bigger, maybe 500, 1000, 2000 test cases, most of the time we may not be able to meet the stringent deadline for any project if you're just concentrating on the manual testing. And the manual testing is also very expensive because we have to do a repetitive work. That means testers cost is also very high, and the overall cost for the testing also will become very expensive. Because it is a tedious task, redundant, repetitive in nature, it is more prone for errors from the tester due to the routine work. What is the challenges in software testing? The challenges in the software testing, even if you execute any number of software testing projects, these are some of the important challenges you might face. One is lack or insufficient documentation or unfrozen requirements. Requirements are getting changed more often. Sometimes we may not find the right documentation. There we should ask a lot of questions with the stakeholders to get hold of these requirements and to derive the test cases or test scenarios. And also there is a all the time unavailability or lack of skilled testing resources. Especially skilled resources should have domain expertise, expertise in automation, expertise in the testing space. If you are not finding the right resources, then definitely the software testing will become a very challenging activity. And also stringent timeline is also one of the key challenge in software testing space. Because of these stringent timelines, most of the time unstable systems or incomplete modules are given for testing. That is also a major challenge. If somebody gives you unstable or incomplete modules, then even after testing you may keep finding issues on issues. Then we'll try to understand when we should not use automation. This is also a very important question. Normally people may ask, okay, these days everywhere we are using automation testing, but can you tell which area or which time or which purpose we should not use automation? That time you should answer, especially whenever you are retesting a defect or a bug, that time you should not use test automation. Then the second time is tests are executed only once. There are test cases which were written in a life cycle, testing life cycle. If those test cases are executed only once in their lifetime, then automation is not a criteria for those test cases. Then especially when you are performing ad hoc testing or exploratory testing, that time also you should not use any test automation. Then especially if you are using a complex scenarios or no return of investment, then that time you should not go for any automation, because automation where return of investment is not there, then you should not put your money in making automation. Especially complex scenarios also you should not bring automation, because if these complex scenarios becomes very hectic and it is very difficult to automate, then definitely you should not choose these scenarios for automation. Some of these complex scenarios can go with manual testing only. Scenarios which not exactly having the right outputs. Outputs are getting generated differently every time. So that time you should not use automation for comparing the outputs. So these are the 5 different places you should not use test automation. What are the best practices of software testing? The best practices are key important things for any software testing to be successful is start the testing as early as possible. That is the number 1 best practices, and you should keep updating all the test cases all the time up to date. Then you should think like a customer. Every tester, they should think like a customer and they should test the application also appropriately. All the time think out of the box while deriving the test cases based on your experiences, based on your domain knowledge. You have to write the test cases out of the box so that you can find as many issues possible. Keep automating the repetitive test. So these are the 5 important best practices. What is test outsourcing? The test outsourcing is nothing but it's an testing effort or a task given to another company. Suppose we have a company where we are implementing the project, where we are developing the project, then I am going to give testing work to the B company or some other team. So we are not doing the testing in the same company or in the same group. So we are just outsourcing. So definitely outsourcing will get lot of benefits. One is a third party view or perspective, and always when we give to the third party people, the biasing won't be there. It is completely unbiased testing. So what is crowdsourced testing? This is a new trend is coming these days. This is another way of doing testing where we will be getting the testing done using the testers across the globe. It could be tester or anybody in that matter. They will be testing the application and they will give the feedback. These resources who does the testing work, they will get paid for their work. What is a test bed? Test bed is a test environment. Test environment can be with the different combinations of environment like operating system, different operating system, Linux operating system, Unix operating system, Solaris operating system. If you're talking about Macintosh operating system, Windows operating systems, its combinations, hardware also, Intel. We have software. Again, this also have a different combination. Databases also can have different combinations. Network also, we are going to simulate different network conditions. Environment which is having these different combinations, we call it as a test bed. Like you have found an issue or you have found a bug. So what next? What we should do is once we are able to identify an issue or a defect, what we should do is we have to do one more validation just to ensure that whatever we have find the issue, when I try to revalidate one more time, still I am able to reproduce that defect or an issue. That is the first thing you will be doing it. Then the second thing is, apart from revalidating in the same environment, we will also be revalidating across different devices, operating systems and browsers. And once we are able to reproduce across devices, operating systems or browsers, where we will be completely taking the video recording or a snapshot and logs, and we will be logging a defect into the defect tracking tools by giving all the necessary information so that it can be assigned to the development team for fixing it. What is showstopper defect? Showstopper defects or an issue is nothing but after we finding this defect or issue, we cannot do any other testing activity. After the showstopper, we cannot do any other activities. For example, if application completely crashes while trying to open the application, or website, you cannot log in at all, where your login credential itself fails. That means you cannot do any other operation using either website or using mobile apps. So these are the 10 important manual testing interviews. Normally they will be asking any interview. I am hoping you guys got an idea how to answer these interview questions. If you guys really like this video, then please give a thumbs up to this video. If you guys are not subscribed, then do subscribe. Thanks for watching this video. Bye for now. Take care.